man, what a long day. Oh boy. What's up, chat? We are back. We're back with another video. More of this regurgitated content for you, because God knows so many of you refuse to swallow some of that red pill that you really, really need to. So, for the small itty bitty number of viewers out there who are women who follow my social media accounts, my outlook, my point of view, who share my view and interest in the long-term relationships. This video in particular is going to be for you. Because I think in the dating world, I think we have forgotten not only gender roles, but also what it is that we, kind of provide for one another. So, before we get down this rabbit hole, I want to preface this with dating as in its entirety, is meant to be a process of elimination, right? I mean, that's really what it is, right? You're dating multiple women at a time, you're dating multiple men at a time, whatever the case is, and you're going through the process of elimination, right? I like these qualities, I don't like these qualities, but generally speaking, I mean, at least your emotionally intelligent individuals should be dating for the purposes of marriage, right? You wouldn't just enter into a relationship for shits and giggles, right? You would enter a relationship for the sole purpose of, engaging in something long-term, getting pregnant, having babies, getting married, making and building a home, that sort of thing, right? So, prefacing this, dating is the process of elimination and finding your spouse, just so we're clear, okay?
Value.
Speak to Mike.
What? Oh, sorry. Yeah, a lot of men want that. A lot of men want
I see where she's coming from.
The IG baddie, the beautiful woman.
No,
they
IG
don't
baddie.
care.
But
Yeah.
that's
Yes,
a fair
they do.
point. That's
There's
a fair
wants
point.
and needs.
But you got to remember that yes, to be on a man's arm, right? Yes, that is eye candy, makes him look better. But the key is, can you consistently be on his arm? And I think that's where most women fail. Because I think just being on the arm is enough. What the reality is, how many times are you going to be on his arm? Is it going to be you? Is it going to be another girl? Whatever. The girl that stays on the arm is the girl that actually adds value outside of her beauty.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
So,
Because
Sorry. She had a point.
you had something too? And then who else? You had something, and then who else? And then you?
Yeah,
Okay,
you're-
cool.
no.
Want to make sure all the ladies get a chance to go. Did that make sense? Or you have anything else besides I move to her? Before I move to her?
We can move on.
Okay.
So this kind of goes into you saying women don't have much to offer, or they expect men
In
to do
general.
more, or
In
they expect
general.
men to do more,
Yeah.
even if they're like
Penis.
financially stable, whatever it is.
The super richest chicks get married.
I think that girls,
Mhm.
I think that girls have got to a point. This is my opinion.
Okay.
That girls have got to a point where, guys are so draining. Like seriously, as a woman, sometimes you really do have to put up with so much that one, your man would not put up with. Like I do 1% of what my man does, and he's gone, and that's clear. So it's like you should do a little more. I'm taking mental distress and I'm eating it. Like I don't know. I just feel like you can say
I'm a little
no,
confused.
I'm gonna.
How
Me
no,
too.
well, I'm confused.
I'm
Like,
confused too.
how are you
I'm
bringing
confused
so
too.
much more than he is where you're
No.
in stress?
I'm saying that's why I feel like men should do more, because they genuinely like take a toll on you mentally a lot more than your girl takes a toll on you. Do you
Ooh.
feel that way?
Have you seen Myron's head?
Yeah, it's gone.
Right, ask my husband. We
I feel like
stressful.
men are really I don't know.
I
But
agree.
isn't that a
It's probably the men
generalization
you
though?
go
Because
after. It's probably the men you go after.
Right.
it's gonna cut both
Yeah.
ways.
So the women that she goes, or the men that she goes after, are stressful idiots. She's one of those who dates the Chad Thundercock type of guys, who are nothing but, I mean, fuck boys, right? They're players, and I mean, to an extent, all men are and should be players, yes. But again, preface this with the purposes of dating, right? The purposes of dating are meant to be for the long term. That being said, when you spend your time looking for, and I'm not saying men going to the gym is a bad thing. I'm not saying men taking care of themselves is a bad thing. But when you go to date men who are gym junkies, who live and breathe their image. You live and breathe men who, you know, live on social media, who live on Facebook, who constantly live in La La Land. Okay, you're picking a very specific type of mentality. So let's bear that in mind.
It's though, right? Because some women are also going to be really draining.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
speak to Johnny
Okay.
Depp, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Okay, I guess you're right. I'm
Yeah.
speaking in my
Yeah.
personal experience.
Yeah.
Okay.
The thing is that I mean, you can say that, but in general, most men are way easier to please than most women.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
They
are.
are.
Men tell you.
Yeah,
Men,
You're probably going after.
No, I'm not
upper
talking about
echelon type
easy
of
to
guys.
please. I'm not talking about easy to please. I'm talking about like you're not crying over me in bed every night. Like
What?
you're
That's not
doing
healthy.
that.
That's your choice.
That's not healthy.
Men
I
do
know
that.
it's not healthy. That's why I'm saying you should do a little more. Like
No, but
than a woman.
nobody should make you feel like that. If he's putting himself first, you put yourself first, and then there shouldn't be
Guys,
And
you
that's
missed,
Yeah,
the
I'm,
end of
I'm
thing.
definitely talking on personal.
you missed a big point here.
Well, I
You
have
should be as
somebody-
athletes. What do you
I'm gonna
expect?
Oh yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
definitely a thing.
I mean, the issue here is that you're kind of taking your experience and trying to attribute it to all women, but the reality is that men are far easier to please in general than
Yes,
women are.
they are.
Women have a like a whole array of requirements that they want from men. As a matter of fact, we've asked women on the show, well over 1,000 at this point. If you ask them what do you want in a man, all of them describe a well above than average man.
Yeah.
Versus if you ask a guy, guys are okay with average chicks, but women are not okay with average men in general.
Oh, shit.
Emotional
Yeah.
damage.
So I mean, I think that has to do kind of with like just the caliber of men that you deal with, which unfortunately, ladies, right, that learn from her. The higher,
We're gonna pause again. This is important, and this applies to all aspects in your dating world and in life in general. Men, this is what hypergamy is. Women date up and across social hierarchy, right? Never down. Right, and men, of course, date across and down social hierarchy, never up, right? Reason being, of course, is hypergamy. It exists. You know, the more money you make, the more of a boss bitch you are, the more masculine you are, really, is what really just kind of deters men and puts them off of you, right?
the higher you go up the totem pole, the more successful the man is, the more money he has, the more status he has, the more sought after he's going to be by other women, and you are going to have to compete. And what you're probably feeling, this sadness and crying in your bed, is competition anxiety. Like other women want your man,
Yeah.
and a lot of the time you're going to lose because guys want to fuck other girls. You're never going to be able to get a high status man all to yourself. So you had something.
Listen, and
I
talk
did.
about the
I had something.
complexity of what women want. She dumped the guy because he didn't lie to her the way she wanted him to lie to her. He lied to me this way. He didn't lie to me the other way.
I want to feel good.
I know, but that's tricky.
So you had
I
something. You had
know.
something. Okay, so we'll go down the line here. Go ahead.
I did. Okay. So I literally did a talks after 8 with my homegirl, and we talked about how women aren't taught how to love men properly.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? We are taught that men are the bag. You get what I'm saying? And they're the extra bag after we get our bag. You feel me? I do believe that men are simple. They tell us what we want. We just don't listen. And it was something else. I had another point. As a woman, I had a man tell me how I am not the shit, and it kind of hurt my feelings, but it built me up at the same time because it showed me, it highlighted the things that I needed to work on within myself as a woman. So when you get a man, a real man, you have to be ready for that man, because if you don't know who you are and you're not real with yourself, then yes, what a man will say will trigger you and make you feel some type of way. But if you're listening, because we don't like to listen, we like shit our way, you feel me, then you'll miss that shit. And then that's why he with Sally down the street, because Sally cook.
Yeah.
And he told you, bitch, I like cooking. I like a bitch that cook. So if you ain't cooking,
Sister,
and he go down to Sally that cook, then you can't be mad, because that nigga just said to you, I like a bitch that cook.
Lord.
Right.
Woo,
And you wanna
She's
get
right.
second that
She's right.
So you
Preach,
cannot be
sister.
upset. You get what I'm
She's
saying?
definitely
I
right.
feel like as women and men, we need to come as whole as motherfuckers. I can't
Nigga,
make
you so
you
mad.
happy.
You're
You get
so
what I'm
mad.
saying?
Look at you, Penn boiling that liberal agenda.
I'm
Said the opposite of
Only
this.
because I ran into a man that was healthy enough to tell me about my motherfucking ass.
Yes.
Then I was healthy enough to be like, oh
Nice.
shit,
Yes.
that motherfucker
Oh,
right.
oh,
should kinda-
we gotta pause that. Look, hey, she was healthy enough to be able to take advice from a man that she cared about, and that man was healthy enough to be able to give that advice. Okay, this is important. Again, for the women watching, men will tell you exactly what they want, to a T. Okay, I want a female who cooks. I want a female who cleans. I want a female who doesn't mind sharing the workload and will work, 40 hours a week with me, 80 hours a week with me, whatever the case is. I would rather. So men will tell you, if you ask, what they want in you. The question then becomes, are you willing to do that for him, right?
To work on some shit on my motherfucking self. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But that's my
and
opinion.
here's the other thing too. Here you go, just for that.
Oh, thank you, baby.
So the other thing too is I want to let the women know you're lucky if he tells you I like a girl that cooks. Most of the time, if he really has options like that, he'll just look around. Okay, this chick doesn't cook. Okay, she has a couple bad habits. What's gonna happen is he's gonna put you in the sex category only.
Hey.
Fuck you, and then you wonder why you don't get called back or whatever. And the
Or
problem is
ghost
that
you.
most women can't handle the truth. And thank you for expressing that earlier today.
Yeah, I can't. I think sometimes I can't.
So and here's
How
the
are you
thing.
gonna lie?
No. I just appreciate the fact that you admitted it
Yeah,
because
'cause I
most
believe
women will not admit it.
No,
So
I
my
can
thing is
admit
How
it.
we
this:
doing, Madonna?
I'm
since most
sorry.
women
They're all pieces
can't
of
take the
shits.
truth, and most women don't want to self-improve, and they think that I'm sure going to spice everything nice. You need to accept me however I come. I'm not going
No.
to self-improve. What most guys do is they say, okay, listen, this girl's a lost cause. I'm just going to have sex with her, and I'm not going to take her seriously. And then he keeps you on the string and tells you what you want to hear until you eventually break up with him and find something more stable. But
We're going to pause again for just a second here. And I actually went over this in I think with the TikTok I did earlier today on this exact thing. In the dating world, as we've defined dating as the process of elimination and finding our future spouse, our partner, right? When we come at dating with a mindset of this is a process of elimination, finding my spouse, and you're actually dating for a purpose, in that circumference of thought process, when women don't provide wifely duties before their wives, they don't get wifed up, right? And I actually had a conversation with a female last night about this very thing. Husband material before you're a husband. And I go, well, how do you figure? And she goes, well, what exactly do you provide me as a husband before you're a husband material? And I go, well, first of all, even starting off dating, right, in the process of elimination, in the dating process, right, I have to provide you with enough self-esteem. I have to provide you with enough intelligence. I have to provide you with enough self-awareness. I have to provide you with enough emotional intelligence. I have to provide you with enough fitness. I have to provide you with enough funds. The reality of it, right? That funds is a part of it. How much money a dude makes, right? I have to provide you with all of these things before you even take an interest in fucking me to begin with, which is, of course, the start of that relationship, because relationships start at sex, right? I see you, you see me, we're attracted, we fuck, things progress, right? So, in order for me to get my foot in the door as a man, I have to provide you, as the woman, with X amount of things to begin with. Now, on top of that, you expect me to do husbandly things. Well, and what does that look like in real life? Well, when you come over to Smash, right, obviously I'm paying for your gas, right? When I come over to Smash, I'm paying for my own gas money. But 9 times out of 10, right, you go to a dude's house, you go to a dude's pad, you go out to dinner with the dude, you go out to the bar with the dude, you go out on these dates, right? The man is paying for this shit, right? So if he doesn't have a pad to bring you home to, he obviously isn't acting like a husband or providing you with husband material before he's a husband, right? Hence, he lives at home with mommy and daddy, or in a trailer, or some other shit, right? He's not at that husband level yet. So it would stand to reason, if he's not paying for your gas to come over and Smash, if he's not paying for your gas to come over and hang out or do whatever it is that you're doing, then it would stand to reason that he is not at that point husband material, right? Coming from the other's perspective, obviously, then as the man, when all I do is get text from you, hey, WYD at 11 o'clock at night, right? When all I get is the random, hey, how are you doing? When I really know you just want to smash, right? When all you do is give me the time of day, is as the fuck buddy, you'll be treated like a hoe. That's just how it goes, right? Versus you coming over and even if we do smash, you come over and you vacuum. You come over and do some dishes. You come over and do some laundry, right? I'm providing you with the masculine frame. You in turn, or well, not even in turn, but equally need to return with feminine frame with wifely duties, right? So, going back to the video here, when you provide wifely duties before you're a wife, that puts you in the wife zone, and vice versa, right? If a dude's a deadbeat, if he's a fucking loser, you're not going to consider that dude as a husband, right? Right.
Issue is that, at least as a man, when you get rejected by a woman, you're getting rejected. You could take the L and move on. With women, y'all don't know when you take the L's because the guy's just not going to say shit to you.
Yeah, he's gonna keep dragging you along.
So, do you have something?
I think you'll
And then
take.
you next, Versace.
I think you'll take the L if you are genuinely into the guy, right? So one of the best things my husband ever did for me, and I'm very comfortable saying this stuff because it helps other women hopefully to get married. Girl, get the ring. The streets are rough. Don't do it.
Don't.
But I looked
She's
at him
mad
one
again.
time. you can hang out there. I'm 27.
Love man.
We'll turn it to this side after if you guys have something. Go ahead.
So I asked him one time because I was getting irritated about, he didn't want to marry me and I wanted to know why. That's why I got that ring when he was my boyfriend because I effed up big time. So I was like, you know what, let me show you, I want a commitment and let me spend my money on that. So I asked him one time, I was like, why won't you marry me? A millionaire would marry me. And he told me they would marry you. And once they got to know you, they would send you right back.
Oh, shit. Oh, Tom is a pimp.
All the time. But I think we like a-holes with a heart of gold. I'm telling you, I'm well cared for now. But so I asked him, I'm like, well, what do I have to do to be your wife? What kind of wife are you looking for? And that's often a conversation that women won't have. They won't even ask their boyfriend that they care about, well, what wife are you into? Let me find out. And he gave me the boxes to check. I completed the task. And here he did what he said he was going to do, but it's nice to get that feedback. It's kind of sexy.
And listen, if a guy, if you're dating a guy, he probably has options, right? And so if you don't cook for him, he's just going to naturally find a girl who will. Because he needs his needs get met. Like pussy, if you're a guy that has options, pussy's just paying to get into the club. Just standard. Okay?
I can pay $40 for that.
And then what else do you bring to the table that he likes? So if he likes a girl who cooks, he's going to want you to cook. If you don't cook, he's like, all right, well, she is pump and dump only. Still got to look for the main girl who can facilitate all my needs.
Yes.
Right.
And ladies, once again, this is a guy of value, a guy that's definitely on a certain level, not no regular nigga on the street.
Yeah. This is like Choice Francis.
Oh.
Yeah.
I guess I wanted to ask, what would separate one woman from all the other competition?
That's a good question. Before we answer that, I want to make sure all the ladies, before we switch to another topic, did anyone here have something?
You, Pen, go. you were angry when she was going on her diatribe.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I wasn't angry.
It's just some problematic things that have been said.
No, I didn't think they were problematic. I just didn't feel like they applied to me.
Oh.
So that, I don't feel like I have trouble listening or taking feedback.
Okay.
Do you have a boyfriend?
No.
Gotcha, bitch.
So your thing was you just don't think it applies to you.
Yeah, specifically what she was talking about. I feel like the conversation is turning into a lot of well, women do this and women do that and women do that, and I feel like the stuff doesn't apply to me.
What do you do?
Roles? What do you mean? You are sweet.
Yeah,
maybe you have value. Do tell. What do you bring to the table?
What do I bring to the table? Should I answer that question for real?
Like when you do.
What do I bring to the table?
Yeah.
I can cook. I'm super smart. I'm very sweet and genuine. I'm not a stuck-up bitch.
Ooh.
I'm from Mississippi originally, so I'm
Okay.
just very down to earth. I don't really care about someone's status or what they can do for me. I genuinely see people as people.
Biloxi?
Yeah. How'd you know?
I've been there.
That's my hometown.
She
Biloxi
brings
girl.
sex, silence, and a sandwich. What else do you need?
Praise the Lord.
I can do better than a sandwich.
What's your
What can
sign?
you do?
We love her.
I'm a Leo.
Oh,
I think it shows.
it does.
Yeah, girl.
The main.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
All right.
What's your sign,
Yeah, go
Myron?
ahead. So you had a question.
Are you looking to take your game to the next level? With Face Check, you can see more in-depth stats.
We don't care.
Earlier about the competition, or
Yeah, your basically your question was how does a woman distinguish herself
Stand
from the
out.
competition?
Yes.
Is that the question?
Mhm.
All right, I guess we could turn it to the guys. Troy, what's your thoughts on this?
What makes a woman stand
I
out?
mean, it's gonna depend from guy to guy, isn't it? Because I mean, a lot of people in this space, they're gonna be like, well, does she cook? Does she clean? Blah blah blah, all that kind of stuff. I mean, I personally, I'm not really that bothered about that. I mean, that's what Deliveroo's for. Do you know what I mean? That's what Uber Eats is for. I mean, I'm looking for somebody. I'm not looking personally for that sort of patriarchal dream of like, oh, I want her in a sundress, I want her in the kitchen, all that kind of stuff. I just want somebody who's cool to hang out with, that I can have a good time with. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Somebody I can have good conversations with, somebody who's kind of cultured. We can enjoy, going to cool places together. We can enjoy experiences together. And somebody as well who's just pleasant and easy to be with. I think that's the fucking key thing for me.
Facts.
Do you know
Sounds
what I
like
mean?
you can to me.
Exactly. And I mean, it's not. It's like
Not rocket science.
It's not rocket science, and it's like, hotness is one thing. Obviously, you're looking for somebody who's attractive. You've got that kind of chemistry between the two of you. But ultimately, the thing that trumps it all has got to be: is she cool to hang out with? Is she easy to hang out
Can
with?
you tolerate her beyond sex?
So would you
agree?
They
Yes.
say romance is dead, but yeah, can I tolerate her?
Yeah.
So, on that note, on that whole romance is dead. Note, can you tolerate each other outside of bed? One of the very simp things that I did shortly after Sage and I broke up, and before I knew that she had monkey branched to him to begin with, before I knew that he was in the picture and she was cheating on me with him long before she dumped me, when I discovered that they had gotten together 3 months after her and I had broken up out of a 7-year relationship, of course I belonged to several dad groups, like just general dad groups, single dad groups, and like little girl dad groups, I don't have a little boy, but there's like little boy dad groups, just groups for adult men with kids who, groups of men that can come together and ask each other questions and kind of form that male bond, if you will. Ask questions, that sort of thing. And one of the questions I asked in my simp behavior back then after we had broken up, I asked in the group, I go, hey, well, because I was scared, of course. I was lost. I was looking for answers, that sort of thing. And I asked in this group, hey, so, and at the time, well, she's 5 years younger than me, 32, 31, 30, 29, 28, 27. She's 27 now. At the time, she was like 23, 24 when we had broken up. But I go, hey, she's with this 42-year-old dude. Like, I think he was 40. I'm pretty sure he was 41, 42 when they had gotten together, to her 24. So they're like 17, 18 years apart. And so in this group, I asked, hey, what are the chances of this working out? Because, like, I'm scared, I'm paranoid, that sort of thing. I wanted answers. And I asked this group of adult-ass men, hey, with that being such a big age gap, what are the chances of it working out and this actually being a thing? And almost all of the men, I remember this specifically, less than a handful, were like, yeah, we have a big age gap with me and my wife and it worked out. Most of those adult men, with that kind of an age gap, were like, she's great for the first 5 minutes and after that she gets annoying. So, bearing that in mind, I think it's funny that he brought that up, because it's important to note, while all men have a baseline standard of cooking, cleaning, and bringing peace to my home, to my castle, the place that I, bring you into and provide you a home for, while those are baseline requirements, let's say, each man has a different need, let's say, right? Like this gentleman just said, this man specifically requires an amount of being able to just hang out and enjoy this company. While the patriarchal stuff means a lot less to him personally, his really hard requirement, if that's what we'll call it, his hard line, is, are you cool to hang out with? Can we just hang out, smoke some pot, watch some Netflix and chill, enjoy each other's company, that sort of thing, right? So, when you ask a man, hey, what do you need? You'll find it very quickly that you'll get an answer, right? But most of the time, women don't even ask these sorts of questions, right? Hey, what do you want? What do you need, right? What do you need from me? You got to have that self-awareness.
Well, some girls are intolerable.
Yeah.
True.
True.
You just got to get the nut and get out.
Yeah.
You want to answer that, or are you good, Emily?
No, that was just what I got to say.
Miguel, how does a woman stand out for you to make her probably like number one in your life?
She's got to fucking cook.
Okay.
If she can't cook, she's out of here.
Yeah.
Period.
Is that your only?
No. Well, looks and looks. She's got to be a sweetheart and stuff like that.
Okay.
But at the same time too, if I got to tell her, hey, you got to do this and this and this, she's got to listen.
Mm-hmm.
On it
Okay.
and stuff like that. And
So coachable.
Yeah, coachable and stuff like that. And two, I'm fucking Mexican, so I want somebody that can speak Spanish too. I mean, but that's just me.
Fuck.
You know?
Okay, that's good.
Damn.
That's good.
Yeah.
Thor?
Yeah, for me, I mean, it's femininity, compliance, you know, sweetness, that hometown sweetness.
Yep.
Meeting me at the door with joy every single day.
Oh,
I mean, those are crazy
a
good
dog.
things. And then, a person that
just trying to be
generally,
controversial. Towards
I know. I want to start.
that generally wants to
Already,
be
just go
in my
home.
presence.
Don't touch
Guys,
me.
let him finish.
I gotta pause this again here because these girls are laughing, and I gotta point this out. It's funny that they laugh and they find this amusing, because again, women highly underestimate the value that they bring to a man's life, nowadays they overvalue it, right? You think, you know, the occasional pussy and you know, having a couple lols is what entertains a husband or a man, and it really isn't the case. This particular, what this man said as far as greeting me at the door, being happy to see me, that sort of thing, I don't know any man personally, and I'm 32, mind you. I've lived a fairly hectic life in 32 years, and of all the men I've met and at least interact with on a regular basis, or have interacted with on a daily basis in regards to my circle is concerned, right, the people that I keep close to me, I don't know a single man who does not require his woman to be able to bring him an amount of peace, right? When I work 8, 10, 12, 15, 20-hour days, whatever the case may be for some men's schedules, when I'm gone for 8 hours a day, or when I'm gone for a week at a time, when I come home, the only thing I want is peace, right? I have enough drama of my own, right? I have enough drama at work, I have enough drama with my family, I have enough drama with a baby mama, if you happen to have one, right? I got drama with the kids at school and their bullshit, I got drama with everything, right? When I come home, I don't want your drama too. I don't want your, oh my God. That's not your job, right? And things happen, okay? No one's saying things don't happen. No one's saying that life doesn't catch up, and you're meant to vent and to depreciate into each other. This is true for all relationships. But I find it amusing that these girls laugh, and you could hear it in their laughter, right? They're laughing in amusement at the fact that this man just wants a woman to come home to and to be appreciative of him. That's frightening.
Finish this point.
Yeah, don't last so long.
I'm sorry. I'm talking about you here. No, one that's generally pleasant to be around at all times. You know, not argumentative. One that's easy to get along with. And I'll tell you this is, you know, I asked my wife this question about what did she bring to the table, because we were actually watching the show and I was doing some research and I heard all the girls tell me what they brought to the table, and a lot of times it was education and it was I am the table. So I asked my wife over here, well, what would you bring to the table, because none of these answers are doing it for me. She leaned forward, she looked at me and smiled like this, and she said, Thor, I bring your legacy and whatever it takes to get your legacy.
Oh, shit.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
That was a good answer, guys.
Shout out to Mrs. Thor.
Yes.
I guess you guys know what happened after that. We created a legacy.
There you go.
Everywhere.
All right.
The hammer of Mjolnir came.
You want to answer that?
If I'm going to prioritize, number one, she can't be a slut.
Yep.
If this is going to be my main girl, 100%, that's the number one priority. She can't be a hoe.
Yeah.
And then number two, coachable. And then number three, compliant and understand, you know, that she's a woman, I'm a man. Men lead, women follow. Understanding basic shit, you know, and that's really what it comes
So
down
she wants
to.
to comment on your.
I'm just wondering, can you be a hoe?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that's exactly what I meant by like guys can do things that girls can't, and that is distress.
Penis.
Like,
Hold on 1 second.
You triggered my trap card!
I mean, like, men and women are different. We're not the same. Like, a guy there's no such thing as a guy that's a hoe. Men are hoe makers.
Oh.
Women are hoes.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah. A promiscuous, I mean, it's very simple.
So
A promiscuous man is not the same as a promiscuous woman. A promiscuous man has to bring value to be able to fuck girls. A woman that's promiscuous loses value when she fucks guys.
Yeah.
It's easy for women to get laid, therefore it is not respected. It is difficult for men to get laid, so therefore it is respected. And I know before you say what you're going to say, Ladies, 1 in 3 men right now is either a virgin and or hasn't had sex in a year. 1 in 3.
Yeah.
So you might think
It's
guys
true.
get laid, but a lot of guys struggle. I know some of you guys look at me like I'm crazy, but most men actually struggle with women.
That's what they pay
For
and
real.
stuff, yeah.
They really do.
I just coached one the other day. It's facts.
And then I feel like, as a woman, why, if
and then-
you're fucking like 10 bitches, why do I want to?
So that's the end of that video. So, and to go back to kind of what Thor said, being pleasant to be around, and of course every man has their own specific needs, right? Beyond the basic patriarchal baseline requirements that is being a woman, being a wife, being of wifely value. It's important to point out too, you can't underestimate the other things, right? Being pleasant to be around, being coachable, being trainable, as it were, right? Being able to take advice, right? In fact, I'll give you an example of this. Many moons ago, back when Angel and I were still married. I have to light a cigarette for this because this is going to be a bit of a rough one for you guys. Back when Angel and I were still married, we were living with my pastor and his wife and his kids in 2 trailers behind a RV mechanic shop. So my pastor, we had fallen on hard times. We had lost the house. So me and Angel, my wife at the time, we were living with our pastor in Sacramento. We lost the house. We ended up, Pastor Jim, had a friend who owned this business on the east side of Sacramento, or was it the west side? I don't remember. I think it was the west side though, because it was the industrial park, the dangerous side of Sac. So we were on the west side of Sacramento, and we were living in these trailers behind this RV lot. Okay. Now, the gentleman who owned this place was a personal friend of Jim's from back in the day when Jim was snorting shit and selling shit and all that stuff before he found God. So they knew each other from back in the day, and, dude owed him a favor, dude coughed up said favor, and we were there for, I don't know, like 3-4 months. We were there for a minute. So there were trailers constantly in and out of there. Well, the 2 trailers that, Jim and his wife and his kids lived in, and the trailer that me and Angel lived in, those were like abandoned. So they were just kind of sitting in the back waiting to get restored and all what have you, waiting to get sold on the internet. So in exchange for living there for free, of course, the mechanic shop, and it was if you could imagine, a huge shop, for fuck's sake.
Excuse me, sir, but I'm afraid someone is endeavoring to contact you telephonically. Shall I tell them to fuck off? Excuse me, sir, but I'm afraid someone is endeavoring to contact you telephonically.
In exchange for us living there, we had to keep it on that place. Now, again, to put this in context, we lived in the west side of Sacramento. So all those businesses on the west side were broken into on a regular basis, and especially these very fancy fifth wheels trailers. This wasn't just some Joe Schmo like RV mechanic shop. Like the RVs that were in it were these motorhomes were top notch. Okay, so dude says, "Hey, look, I'll let you live here. You have to come into the shop to shower." And use the bathroom, but otherwise, the power's hooked up to, hook the power up to the trailers, they're usable, whatever, stay here as long as you need. Fine, great. So, Pastor Jim and I would take turns walking the perimeter of this RV mechanic shop, which was, it had like an 8, I don't know, I'm like 5'11" so it was at least an 8-foot tall fence with another 2 feet of the barbed wire or razor wire, right on the angle part going up. Okay, So it wasn't like top-notch security, but you know, people had broken in the past, stolen shit out of people's RVs, money, watches, that sort of thing, and it wasn't a problem, but it was a big enough problem to where he asked us for help in return for us staying there. So we did. We agreed. So every night, Jim and I would take turns. Monday, Jim. Tuesday, me. Wednesday, Jim. Thursday, me, sort of thing. So we would take turns walking the perimeter between, you know, I don't know, 9:30 and 12 o'clock at night. Okay? And we would just, you know, of course, we would just walk around and smoke. That's what we did. We smoked and walked around and just kind of kept an eye on everything, making sure people, because the Amtrak, I think it was BART. The BART station was like a couple blocks down from this mechanic shop. So people kind of came through slowly. Okay? So there was one night where, and these trailers, you know, I wish I had a piece of paper or something I could show you this, but the trailers were angled in such a way that you could kind of bob and weave in between them. Okay? They weren't just parked like a wall of bricks, right? So one night in particular, there was a group of young men trying to get over the fence, and this was late at night, and so they had, when I had came to the far corner of the shop, the far end, which was like toward the BART station side, not the front side of the building, the back corner, they had thrown a blanket, like a moving blanket, over the top of the razor wire. And for whatever reason, that particular night, Angel had chosen to follow me. So I came through the clearing in between two trailers and saw this and kind of like stopped. And of course, it's nighttime, it's dark. You really couldn't see that well. But I saw the blanket and I heard a handful of dudes talking. So I stopped, and then I heard something behind me, right? I heard the scraping on the gravel, so I turned around because I was scared, of course. What the fuck? And it was Angel. So I was like, you know, look, go get Jim. And this fucking dumb bitch, frustrates me to no end. She puts her hands on her hips, and very loudly goes, "You're not going to tell me what to do." These 4 or 5 gentlemen, who we later found out were Bloods, by the way, they were apparently doing some, when we filled out the police reports after all of this went down, come to find out they were a group of young Bloods, no pun intended, trying to rob the place as a part of their jumping in. So they pulled out guns, they fired at us, okay? Bullets went into the RVs. It was a big fucking deal. Jim came out with his shotgun. By the time I had gotten back to the trailer and kind of met Jim, I don't know, 20, 30 feet in front of where our trailers were, closer to the front end of the trailer park, or the mechanic shop, by the time we got back to the back of the fence where this blanket was, the blanket was still there. It was kind of half ripped down or whatever, but because they had, you know, tried pulling it back down. But their fingerprints were all over it. Their bag of shit was there. Like, they had brought the one thing I remember was a monkey wrench, and God only knows why they brought a monkey wrench. I don't know. But the little handbag of like fucking 5-in-1, a monkey wrench, and some other shit had gotten dropped and left there. They obviously, you know, ran with their weapons that they had fired at us with. Thank God nobody was hurt, of course. And, you know, so police came out. The owner got called out. Now, it's now like fucking 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. 4 or 5 cop cars are out front. You know, lights are going. It's a big fucking deal. And after everything settled down, Jim was like, so what happened? I'm explaining to him, and I go, I told Angel to go get you quietly, because I saw what they were trying to do, and they were having a rough go at it, because, of course, the angle went out, not in, of course, which would allow them to kind of climb into it easier. They would have to get over it. So the L part was out. So I was like, I told her to come fucking get you, because I knew you had the gun, and if shit went down, like, you know, we would handle it. And Jim, and I remember this specifically, Jim was fucking furious with her. He goes, and mind you, he was also our leadership teacher at the time, because I was in seminary, okay, Bible college, to become a minister. Her and I were both in the same leadership class. However, she was not in the seminary like I was. She was just in the leadership class with me for the other stuff. But he goes, are you telling me that your husband, this man that you married, I mean, it wasn't legal, of course, it was a spiritual marriage, but for all intents and purposes, we were married. He goes, are you telling me that your husband gave you a direct order and you refused to listen? And of course, she felt like a dipshit, which she should have, right? Because she could have gotten in harm's way and putting us in very real danger, okay? Compliance, you can't overlook shit like that, right? And that's just one example, okay? That's just one example of many out of Angel specifically, okay? Sage, for example, I'll give you another one for Sage, because I've been asked several times in the last couple of years, hey, would you ever give Sage another chance? No, of course not. Primarily due to the fact that she still keeps dudes around, okay? One of her ex-boyfriends got her pregnant, at least according to her. One of her ex-boyfriends got her pregnant, and it didn't work out. They were young, whatever the case was. She keeps this dude around to this day, right? To this day. At least to my knowledge. Maybe she got rid of him now that she's with Bennett. I don't know. I don't care. But while she was with me, I had told her, hey, this dude's a scummy little fuck. Like, he's just one of those beta simp types. Like, oh, my life always sucks. Oh, I never get to see my kids because I picked dumb women to come in and, like, my life is miserable. Like, the dude was just a drag. And anytime he interacted with Sage, she would then become a drag. And I noticed this in her behavior and her speech patterns while her and I were together. Mind you, we were together for almost 7 years, which is a very long time. Whenever she talked to him, she became a drag. So I was like, look, I need you to not talk to this dude. Like, trust my judgment. Because at that point we were engaged. Engaged, of course. And I gave you a direct order. I need you to not talk to this dude. Like, that's just an expectation I have. When I give you an order, you do it. Right? That's how it goes. And that's something that women just have a hard time, I don't know, comprehending, right? Women and even men in many cases, but in this case, women, you underestimate your value in regards to how much peace you can bring to a man's life, how much of an ability you have to take orders, right? When shit needs to happen and your man says, hey, go do this, you go do it, right? Your teachability, right? Are you firmly set in your ways, or are you willing to budge on some things and allow to be taught some things by a man who's been there and done that, right? If you're hard stuck bronze and you fucking suck and you've obviously been doing shit wrong up until the age of 28, 29, 30, however old you are, obviously you're single up until this point because you've been doing something wrong, right? So what's your teachability look like? So there's a lot of very common themes with women in regards to dating that I think a lot of women overlook, and you can't put yourself in that mentality because, man, I don't know very many people, myself and especially men. I don't know any men who want to be single, right? I know I don't want to be single. I have to be single because most of these women are either hoes or just completely out of their mind, right? I don't want to do it. I have to do it, right?
Excuse me, sir, but I'm afraid someone is endeavoring.
So.
Excuse me, sir, but I'm afraid someone is endeavoring to contact you telephonically. Shall I tell them to fuck off?
Oh, these women, all these women. Anyways, you can't underestimate, or like I've said before, in many cases, even overestimate what it is that you bring to the table and what you can bring in as far as value goes to a man. Okay? When you ask,
Excuse me, sir, but I'm afraid someone is endeavoring to contact you telephonically.
Okay. I forget my fucking train of thought now. But taking yourself seriously, whether...
Excuse me, sir, but I'm afraid someone is endeavoring to contact you telephonically.
Okay. Man. Being able to assess what you bring as the man, being able to assess what you bring as the woman is crucial, and furthermore, being impactful upon asking, right? One of the many things that I ask, because I have a very long list of questions I ask any given woman at any point in time when we're talking, is, how long have you, how long have you been single? What's your relationship like with your dad?
Excuse me, sir, but I'm afraid someone is endeavoring to contact.
Could you, what could you have done better in your past relationships to, what could you have done in your past relationships to have made things better, right? To allow things to work out, that sort of thing. And my long laundry list of questions that I have for all women who are single who enter my frame. One of those questions is, of course, what do you bring to my table, right? Well, what do you bring, right? And what do most men bring, right? A stable job, stable income, a roof, right? I don't own my own house yet, right? But I bring an amount of emotional intelligence. I bring an amount of book smart, street smart, that sort of thing, an amount of fitness. Every man, of course, has these variables in there. But then when the question's asked, what do you bring? What do you bring, right? You have to ask these questions. What do you want, right? And that is, and to go back to my point, that's one of the questions that I ask is what do you want from me versus what do you need from me, right? What you want and what you need are generally two different things, right? So if you're emotionally intelligent enough to be able to decipher the difference between the two and to give me a cognitive answer, then we're off to a very solid start, right? What I want is a nerdy, Velma-looking bitch in a sundress, right? But what I need is for you to be able to cook and give me peace and be happy and bring happiness to my world when I come home, right? So would the need be nice, or would the want be nice? Of course it would be, but it's not a requirement, right? What I need and what I want are two different things, right? I need you to have a bush. Sorry, not sorry. I need you to be clean shaven. Sorry, not sorry. I need you to have an ability to cook. I need you to be able to do this or that, right? Or, I want you to do this. I want you to do that. So you have to be able to have those hard conversations, and you have to be able to have the maturity to be able to